That's not my jam, but I'm here with you, Freddie, and we're back for Friday Night Tea. It is I, Madam Askew, with my wonderful co-host, special guest, Freddy Prinze Charming. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're on a new platform, and I'm very excited with all of you. Please comment so we know you're watching. Because
we'll see if it's actually working. If it's not working, it's fine. We'll just spend an hour talking to ourselves. It's whatever.
Be jolly. It'd be great. So, of course, we're languishing here in the heat, which has fried our brains. I mean, you said it was 118 today.
118. Yeah.
That's Fahrenheit.
Yep.
That's like over 45 degrees Celsius, I think. It's up there.
It's too fucking hot is what it is.
That's correct. That's the only way to talk about it. It was 109 here, a little bit further south in the Sonoran Desert. It's still absolutely apocryphal, and I don't like it. Yes, hello, Scott Mistress. We're on Twitch. That's exciting. I'm so excited. Thank you. Our first comment of the night. Hello, Tracy. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So, Freddie, StreamYard is a little bit your fault. This is what you use, right?
And we use Restream, not StreamYard.
Oh my gosh! All right, then I can't blame you. I can't blame you. No, I can't. But we're using a new bit of software, so thank you everybody for being patient as I learn this. But I think the good news is we can stream lots of places, and we also now I can stream once more again onto Facebook, which I haven't been able to do since February. Oh, how? Well, they just decided I wasn't allowed to do it anymore. Oh, hello, dude, from air-conditioned space.
Yeah, I'm in the drag cave, and I made the mistake of not turning the mini split on before we went to run errands. I don't know what the temperature is in here. I don't want to know what the temperature is in here. I'm not wearing pants. We're fine.
We're fine. Yeah, no, it's just sometimes the best choice is denial. Sometimes that's the worst choice too, but we are both staying hydrated in our own ways. We're going to talk about hydration.
Since I am in the 7th circle of hell, I decided to find a teacup to match.
I love that teacup so much. It's so good. Honestly, I lust after it a little bit. Hello, my darlings. Hello, everyone. Today is a great day to not be wearing pants or trousers, as your predilection goes. I'm also not wearing trousers, as I never do. But I'm enjoying cotton voile. My answer to hubris in the desert. So, Freddie, what else? What have you got going on? You did an amazing show at Phoenix Fan Fusion.
Oh my God, it was
about that, but yeah,
that was fantastic. Like that, it was my it's my second year co-producing, and I think that everybody is now realizing that I was right, and this is the direction that it needs to go, because it's a big stage. It's, we're talking almost 3,000 people in the audience. Like it is a, and it needs to be bigger. Everything needs to be bigger. And my cast this year was absolutely phenomenal. Of course, the kings showed up and showed out, just like we always do. Queens were a little trickier, but that's fine. It's kind of par for the course. That's usually how that goes, but it is what it is. I pretty much haven't done diddly squat outside of that.
That was so much. It was so big and wonderful, though. The pictures looked amazing. A real triumph.
That was that's been the highlight of like my last couple months. I just did the fantastic photo shoot with Holly Shoemaker last week. That was like because the theme for Wild Wild West Con this year is the steampunk Halloween, in speaking with the powers that be, and they usually end up using my picture on the flyer for the show. I was like, oh, okay, hold on one second. So I put together, and it was literally everything except for the brain prosthetic was pretty much stuff that I already had and kind of threw together. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna put this together, and I'm gonna go see Holly because Holly's gonna make me look amazing. And bam, there we go. And thank you, Tracy.
Yes. Oh my gosh. They are amazing photos. And I know you've worked with Holly in the past. Holly is up in Phoenix area, I believe, right? An incredible photographer. This is something you and Felicia talked about on your last, I think it was your last episode of Let's Have a Feifei. Let's Have a Fifi. I still pronounce it like it's Italian because I'm a weirdo. But you were talking about photography and the importance of like respect for your photographer and going in with a thoughtful approach, and how every photographer brings a little bit of a different vibe to the photo shoot. And so you pick the photographer not only based on their skills, but also based on the vibe they're going to bring. And I thought that was such a wonderful conversation that you were having. You had you and Felicia brought up some wonderful topics on the front of photography anyway. But
it's one of those things, like I have a lot of photographer friends and I see them get shit on constantly. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna have a conversation.
Yes. No. One of the things that you mentioned is a really huge pet peeve for me. Because I love our photography community. And I think as artists, it's so important that we support our fellow artists, whatever their art form may be. But like the lack of tagging, people forget to credit the photographers all the time. And I think it's so important because you've paid them, hopefully, or you've made an equitable deal with them. But But they deserve credit too.
And that's why I was like, any artist, like I have artists that behind me, like this way. This is a local artist. This is a local artist. And like, I can't always put their names up there, but I can put their art up there. And if it's a piece of like costuming, if it's a prop, if it's something, I will always credit that person. Like I will always throw them, even if it's a bigger, like with my my Star Trek crush cap that I got from Blonde Swan. Like I'm always like, this is my Blonde Swan cap. Like this is and I know that it's not always like, if you use a picture on like a flyer or something, it's a little bit harder to credit them every time this flyer is shared or whatever. But you can on at least the initial post when you make it, and you can be like, the photo on the flyer was done by blah blah blah.
I mean, absolutely. Please go ahead.
No, you're fine. It's like, and like I said, with the jewelry and stuff that I wear, like I was wearing two different pieces on our finale of the Fifi from two different people that made it, and I mentioned both of them because I'm like, if I can, if somebody's like, hey, where did you get that, and they can go and they can be like, oh, I know where they got it, I'm gonna go reach out to that person. Or, oh my god, who made that costume, I'm gonna go reach out to that person.
Like, oh my gosh, this came up recently on a another creator's post. They're a costumer and they make beautiful drag costumes, like top tier. These are people who are winning drag race level of costumes, and they did not get credited in a recent spread in Vogue where the
Oh no.
yes, and like there was a bunch of back and forth, like how much credit did they really deserve? The artist had gone in and um like stoned it and done some alterations, and as a costumer I have a little bit of bias, but as a costumer I feel like they still deserve some credit, like base structure, corset, whatever, buy this,
Something, right.
right?
So
And
one of my biggest pet peeves is when I see, and this happens with drag people a lot, and they're like, oh, I made this. No, you did not. You put some rhinestones and shit on it. You did not make it. You embellished it. Right, you whatever, but you didn't make it. Like, I'll always say that, my stuff starts out with like, as a base of, Goodwill shit, and then I will add things to it. I'm not like I made this, because I did not make, like, I added to it. I did things to it. I may have cut some things. I may have whatever.
I didn't. It.
Right. Like, I didn't. If I were to get if I were to say, hey, Madame Askew, can you please just make me a basic corset vest? I needed, this color. I'm going to throw some rhinestones and shit on it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, look, I made this. I'm going to be like, oh, no. The corset vest was made by Madame Askew. Stoning, I did. Like,
right. Yes. So personally, I think it's better to be more generous with credit than less. And I'm not going to say I always meet my own high bar, by the way. I definitely miss tags periodically, and I have to go back in and add them. We all have off days. We all forget something. We're all like, oh, I bought that from a random vendor in a vendor hall. I can't remember who it was. That happens. But when you know, and when you're able, I think it's better to give credit where credit is due. And one of the things that came up in this particular scenario was that somebody said, well, that drag performer likes to hide who makes things for them so other people can't have access to that crafts person. And listen, I think that's terrible, because those crafts people are trying to hustle and make a living and make their art. And if you don't give them credit, they can't use that to like drum up more business and keep the lights on, as it were. So
there's this weird, like, and it used to be worse a few years back, but it's gotten a little bit better. But it's still this, like, there's weird mentality where drag performers, especially the queens, and there are some kings too, like they want to hold on to these things, and they want to cover, like, if there's a certain way that they do their makeup, or if there's a certain makeup that they use, or a certain prosthetic thing or whatever, they're like, mine, I don't want to show anybody, like, I can't share this, I don't want to do it. And I'm like, oh, this is stupid. Everywhere.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
It's dumb. It's like, so what you're saying is you don't want anybody else to succeed. Are you afraid they're going to be better than you? Because that's usually the problem.
Right.
Like, there was a king a few years back who refused to show anyone how they taped. And I'm like, why? You this isn't, like, it's really not that new. You're not the first person to do it this way. Yeah. Why won't you, like, and it was really bizarre. And I remember, like, one of their drag kids showed me, and they're like, okay, I'm going to show you this, but you can't show anybody else. And I'm like, literally don't care. Nobody, like, this is the dumbest shit ever. I know.
Like, no. So listen, this hits at something that I try and do as a sewist. So whenever anyone asks me, like, what the pattern was, where I got my fabric, what notions I'm using, I always tell them. Like, first of all, of course, I want the businesses I use that are good to get more custom so they continue to be there so I can continue to use them. But also, my make is always going to be different from someone else's make. And there's room for all of us to have a good time and have some success at our art, right? No one's taking away from me.
Let's be real. Like, there are some things that if I really wanted to learn how to do it, I could probably learn how to do it. I don't want to. Like, there's some things that and there's things that like I can do, but sometimes it's easier and more efficient if I outsource it.
Absolutely. Like, listen, I'm never going to take up wig styling. That's not for me. I would go to someone else.
I'm like, there's like I can rhinestone like a motherfucker. Like, that is fine. And eventually I will use the sewing machine that is currently sitting on the table that's made it out of the box. It is not, however, made it entirely out of like all the plastic, but it has made it out of the box. So there is that.
That's good.
We're steps. We're getting there, you know. So it's made it out of the box. And eventually I will learn how to do things with it. In no way in my wildest imagination will I get to the point where I'm going to be like, oh, check out this corset I made because it's totally as good as Madam's. Not even a fucking chance. If I'm lucky, I'll be able to hem a pair of pants, maybe make a shirt. Like, that's like the extent really of like my goals when it comes to like that. I'm like, no, there are people that do this far better than me, and I know that there are people that will always do things far better than me, and I will not, like, I may attempt to make a corset at some point, but I'm also not going to be like, look at this corset that's all wonky and how amazing it is. I'll be like, hey, look at this attempt. It's really shitty attempt, but you know, look, it's not falling apart. Hey, go me.
I mean, and we all start there, by the way. So I just want you to know, if you really were like, I, Freddy Prinze Charming, desire to become a corsetier, I would help you get there. I would teach you. I would, I teach classes. I'm always happy to help people improve their skills, because I started out with like making wonky things, and it's learnable. But when I look at my very first things I made and I look at what I made now, it's just in a very different place. And I always want people to understand there's like, the
stuff you make now is very adequate.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like it's very adequate too. So Tracy asked a good question. Do we think it's based in insecurity when people won't share? Yes, I think so. I think it's a combination of like insecurity when people don't want to tell you who they're working with because they don't want you to like potentially be better than them or do better. But I also think there's a little bit of not thinking that's about it, right? Like, people forget they're not thinking about spreading the love. And it's so important to spread the love, especially in this day and age. Oh my goodness. Hannah says she will sew for you, Freddie, if you still
Deal. Wait. What do the kids say? Bet. I'm hip. Bet.
You are hip. You're more hip than I am in that regard. Yep. And what Alicia says is true, by the way. Corset making is precision sewing. Start small and slow. It will be fine. Yeah.
I'm fine. That's why I'm gonna stick to pants hemming. Like, I'm fine. I'm not.
I mean, also, this was a thing that, like, early on when I was getting into steampunk and time traveling, I was like, oh, I have to make everything. I have to do everything. I have to make my props and my hats and my clothes and my everything. And my like, did I need to take up cobbling? I wasn't sure, but I thought maybe I did. And the truth is,
it's not too late. It's not too
late. I could always become a cobbler in my copious spare time. Absolutely.
I don't see the problem.
I love fussy projects. Cobbling, the next frontier. But no,
Grand Arbiter will now have copious amounts of shoes coming his way.
He'd like that. We should not tell him about that, because he would love to get very special boy shoes that are made just for him. The shoe thing is like a big issue, because we've got one perfect pair of shoes for him. his beautiful boots that he got from American Duchess that he wears with almost everything. And he has yet to find a different pair of shoes that satisfy. And so we're just like, well, I guess it's the boots again.
I can understand this.
Yeah.
I have far too many shoes, but that's because, in my, normal human life, I like having shoes that match different things. So I have a ridiculous amount of Converse in a bajillion colors. I don't even want to talk about it. And like different styles and things. And then with drag, it's the same thing. Like I can't just wear because with my stuff, I cannot say that my like black boots will go with everything. Like they're just not. So I have multiple styles of black boots and then different colored boots too, because you never know when you're gonna need a good pair of like, I don't know, yellow boots or some shit.
Right? Yeah, sometimes you need more color than just black boots. Although those Hessian boots are gorgeous. No, Robin's like, no, you make shoes. No, Scott Mistress, I don't make shoes. I don't make shoes. I merely thought about it a time when I was feeling extremely foolish.
I'm gonna start that rumor now.
Yeah. No, but honestly, there was this one time where I was a guest at an event, and I was like one of the guests of honors, and a young man in the audience was asking me about, it was at the opening night thing. He's like, I said, well, I made everything I'm wearing myself from the skin out. He's like, well, did you make your earrings? I go, no. Did you make your necklace? No. The clothes. I made the clothes. Did you make your shoes? I was like, no, I didn't cobble my shoes. He wanted to know about everything I hadn't made. It was
Security.
Oh no, Dee is outing you about your shoes.
I don't know what she's talking about. My drag cave is in perfect condition and everything is where it should be.
Yeah, no, I know my little salon here is so impeccable that I just put up this backdrop for funsies, not to hide things. No,
this is like a good corner for like, there's nothing wrong with what's on that side of the camera. It's just unremarkable, really. It's just, so there's no reason for me to show anybody what's on that side of the desk, because it's nothing really. It's just, it's just boring, really. It's like one or two tubs, maybe some accessories. Like there's really nothing.
No. Oh, you're very minimalist. I've seen that about you.
I am very much, yes.
Very so Tracy wants to know if your drag cave is like a dragon cave in that it has a hoard.
No
hoards.
No,
you don't hoard anything.
No.
Certainly not shoes.
Nothing. I hoard nothing. I've downsized like 3 times.
I have too, and it just seems like part of being a time traveler and doing costuming and all of the things that we do means that the hoard never shrinks. Yes, and Scon Mistress, I was thinking of Nicole Rudolph for shoemaking, historical shoemaking. Thank you for reminding us all of her name. So if you want to watch somebody make shoes, watch Nicole and then see why you shouldn't cobble. You could just watch a cobbler. You don't have to cobble. So yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh no, the downsizing and the trying to make the time travel like manageable and all the accessories and all of the things is really hard.
Whatever my partner is saying is complete bold-faced lies.
Lies.
She's been, you know what? She has been sick for the past week. She's on like antibiotics and God knows what else. you know, so look, you have your first troll. Look at that.
Oh my gosh, how exciting.
It is very
Wow.
exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah, my
no.
partner really doesn't know what she's talking about, so we'll just ignore anything that she says.
Yeah, no, Dee is clearly strung out on Dayquil and all the things. So, Dee, I'm sure that you miscounted, and it's merely.
I definitely don't have 23 large tubs just in this room alone.
No, definitely not. No. And I also definitely don't have so many banks of shelving units in the workshop that I had to.
I have seen how many you don't have.
Yeah,
like it's very you have two, they're very small, they're like off in the corner. Like, yeah,
of course.
for sure.
Yeah, no, it's not like wall to wall walls of fabric or anything like that. No, it's very organized.
No.
But I don't have a good segue from this into our topic for tonight, so I'm just going to dive into it. Because,
actually, real quick, I'm gonna throw a side note at you real quick. So, I 100% think, this is going back a little bit, but I 100% think that you and the Grand Arbiter need to find your best, like, Victorian and come up here and get a shoot done with Holly. Have you seen the stuff that she does with, like, when she takes people and literally makes them look like art?
Oh, I have not. I really want to do a photo shoot with Holly.
Because she would make you look literally like a Victorian piece of art, and it would be absolutely fucking glorious. And I think you need to figure out how to make that happen.
I want that. Yeah, no, right now I can't get up to Phoenix, and also it's 1,000,000 bloody degrees. But
I would not recommend doing it anytime soon. Maybe December.
Yeah. But you know, I'm making a really huge ensemble set for the Grand Arbiter and I, and we want to do something very splashy with a photo shoot for it. So that might be a good time to.
Because you would literally look like a piece of, like, Victorian art, like a bloody canvas. Like, if you go look at her page and some of the things that she's done, if you go look at my partner's page, she actually posted pictures that Holly did of our daughter a couple years back.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Literally looks like a painting. Like, and I 100%, but with you and the Grand Arbiter in your Victorian finery, I think that Holly would be able to do the most amazing things.
Yes.
Because she does dark and kind of gritty, but also with her artsy stuff, it's this, like, almost ethereal oil painting. Like, it's fantastic, and I think that needs to happen.
Yeah, that needs to happen. The Grand Arbiter's not here to disagree.
Right.
I think he would agree.
I have decided for you.
Thank you.
So there is that.
Thank you. I would love to make that happen. That sounds. I want to be an oil painting at least once in my life without having to actually pose.
Sit for it? You're right. Yeah.
That's a long time sitting for an actual portrait.
Yeah.
So long. So yeah, no. I by the way, I saw those photos that Dee posted of your daughter. So beautiful. They really are very ethereal. And Holly
she was like 12 or 13 or something in those pictures.
Oh my goodness. Gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. So yes, and for those of you who are following along, you can find Honey Shoemaker on the Book of Faces and elsewhere on the social medias, as they say.
So Dee actually makes an interesting point. Holly's husband actually does oil paintings. They're kind of ridiculously amazing. In fact, if you walk into their house, their walls are covered in Holly's photos and her husband's oil paintings, and you would think that you walked into an art gallery.
Well, kind of.
They've both won multiple awards. Like, his paintings are outstanding. So you could, in fact, get an oil painting done.
Yeah. That's, well, The temptation is grave, actually. That's very exciting.
Start pushing for. Oh, if the folks on your Patreon wanted to, I don't know, maybe assist in raising funds for you to commission potentially an oil painting from Holly's husband, because that would be fucking fantastic.
That would
And
be
also
amazing.
a photo shoot with Holly.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Because I feel like we would all benefit from that.
Well, I'd like to think it's a gift to everyone. Although I will say that these days, for those of you who are used to me putting a lot of content up on social media, I've definitely pulled back recently because of the whole AI stuff and trying to navigate that. And so most of the cool new photos and things, you will find them on Patreon. So if you're like really wanting to see our costumes and what we're getting up to, that's the place. I have a wonderful post in the works talking about how I revamped an entire costume and turned it into something that I really love. I liked it before, but then I was like, oh, this never suits. And being able to transform something into the thing is very satisfying. It was sort of a secret back burner project for like 9 months. So
you know what? 9 months is pretty good. I've had shit on the back burner for like a couple of years, but I think I finally have an excuse to do some stuff now. So I'm like, I have a whole list of things that I want to do, and I actually have a reason to do some of them now. So we'll see if I can actually make that happen.
Well, I did finally make my Bi Pride flag caftan that I've been meaning to make for the past year. And so that was thank you. It was very exciting to make that garment. And also,
honey, the refrigerator door is open. Can you close it? I get an alert.
Oh, I'm like, that's not a euphemism. That's real. Oh, I was like, what does that mean? So that caftan. Now, so this is a caftan pattern I've made a number of times. I really like it. It's the TLC caftan from Decades of Style. It's a great pattern. And it's very accessible and like so comfortable to wear, and it always looks really fabulous. But I made it out of this gorgeous silk satin from Silk Baron, and like their fabric is so beautiful. The hand is wonderful, but let me tell you, that satin is not for beginners. It is, if you are a more beginner sewist, don't do it. Don't do it. It stymied me on several fronts. I spent a lot of time in heated conversation with this fabric and how it was like thwarting me and tormenting me. I had to learn a whole new technique to work with it because it frays so hard. But I'm very happy with it. I learned to do a French seamed pocket inside a French seam, and that was madness, and it took me 3 hours to put that pocket in. So that is the caftan that
I hope it was worth it.
Pocket. It's always nice to have pockets, and I got through that one pocket. I was like, I don't love pockets that much. So
this is why I have a backpack. Fuck you. I don't want a pocket anymore. I don't need another one.
Oh my gosh. Well, I was like,
tuck it into my corset.
Well, I've always got the, security of the brassiere where I stash some things periodically. But it's my brassiere pocket. Janet asked a wonderful question. Which did I find worse to work with, silk satin or silk velvet? Silk velvet. Silk velvet was absolutely harder to work with.
Silk velvet. What did you make that was out of silk velvet?
Do you remember the black and gold ensemble?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so that has a beautiful, well, the little capelets are silk velvet, lined in silk. And then I did an overskirt for myself out of silk velvet.
Hmm.
And originally, I thought I would do a bit more out of the silk velvet, to be honest, everyone. But I got through that skirt and I was like, no, no, I don't. I think that was enough. Yeah. So Cindy Joy, this is great. Not just silk velvet, black silk velvet. Yeah, it was so hard. Honestly, I'm fairly certain that I got more nearsighted working on that project. I could feel the eye strain happening as I worked on it.
Choices, you know, choices.
Oh my. I made them. That is also, I love that garment set. It's partially in pieces now. Not the big skirts, but the appliques did not hold up to the desert heat and started dropping off. And I've been hand sewing them back on, and it's very tedious. But yeah, no, it's terrible. I'm like, what? Do I love it that much? It's a lot of work. But it was so hot. It was so hot. That is the costume that almost sent me to the hospital because I wore it at that incredibly hot Wild West Con. It was like one of the hottest ones we've done. It was in the 90s that weekend. And, you know, it's black on black on black and it's silk. It's silk.
But you know what? You would have looked stunning in the ambulance and in the ER. Like you would have looked amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I would have died beautifully. Also, thank you, Bill. Yeah, no, they may come back in some form, or maybe I'll make new black and gold ensembles with better knowledge about some aspects of it and only wear them in between November and February, unless I'm in.
Just use like the silk velvet and just make a couple of like thongs and just see. You could just add a bustle to the thong, and that
I think
done.
a bustle thong is, you know, an idea whose time has come, especially
done.
In this weather. We can all use a bustle thong.
I mean, I'm always looking for an idea to like add to like, because I'm gonna start like kind of branching out into more burlesque stuff. So like, I could totally like if I like a oh my god, a bustle, like yes, I feel like I feel like I need a bustle thong.
Well, honestly, if you need a bustle for, you know, part of a reveal, we should talk. I love making bustles. But yeah, no, I do still have quite a bit of that silk velvet, and it will get used for something at some point. I'm not sure what, but maybe it will be a tea gown. I hear that the theme for Wild West Con is Halloween, and gothy swanning would be nice. But also, I'm making this other costume, so it's got priority. So we'll see how we get on with that. Yeah. So speaking.
Sorry, I derailed. My bad.
No, you know what? I think the derailing was great, and also, this is wonderful. Bustle could conceal a personal AC unit. Absolutely true. Put a little fan in there, or some ice packs. In, you know, very like. Create your own swamp cooler. Have a bustle. And that lobster tail bustle would make an incredible thong. Yeah, very showy. And, you know, if you did like a codpiece situation and a bustle situation, there's a lot of situation there, a lot of room for nonsense.
Oh, now I have ideas.
Oh, good. I'm delighted.
Now I have many, many ideas.
I'm about this life. Also, listen, the Grand Arbiter and I do not usually travel to the Renaissance or the medieval era, mostly because the hygiene was very questionable and the quality of the water is very dodgy. But I do love going to the Italian Renaissance, honestly. It's a delightful time to visit. And overall, I feel like the codpiece really needs more love. More people should be embracing the absolute absurdity of the codpiece because
they have been branching out. Now you can get cod pieces that blow bubbles. You can get cod pieces to like store your beer can. That like spit, like do all sorts of fun tricks.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness. I love this idea of dressing the butlers as mini dragons with feather fans. They could just fan us to keep us cool. But speaking of being too hot, it's too hot. We started with that. It's too hot. It's too bloody hot. It's too hot for tea. What do you drink when it's too hot for tea?
Well, I mean, Lipton iced tea, obviously.
Oh, yeah, no, that's definitely the first place I go is to Lipton iced tea, 100%. Absolutely, when my brain went immediately. Lipton all the time. Cheeky. No, I'm actually living off of mineral water right now. It's bubbly and effervescent. I like that.
See, I have tried very hard to get into like the flavored sparkling water. I never cared for sparkling water to begin with. And I grew up in countries where sparkling water was the norm. And I always had to make sure that I ordered still because I fucking hate sparkling water. And this new idea of like flavored sparkling water, listen, okay, look.
No, lay it on me.
The flavored sparkling water tastes like someone sort of put a fruit next to it and hoped that maybe some of the flavor would like get to it by osmosis, or like, you know, their cousins, brothers, uncles, fathers, roommate in college had a friend that was a lemon.
Yeah, no, that's accurate. Honestly, that's an accurate description of the flavored sparkling water.
I can't do it. And I have tried every brand you could possibly imagine. I can't do it.
No, I mostly prefer plain old sparkling water that's unflavored. But here's the deal. I've had to learn to like flavored because the plain sparkling water is sold out 90% of the time. And so they were always giving me these weird, terrible flavors. Like, ooh, don't you want sad lemon? Don't you want bitter blood orange? I was like, no, I don't want any of those things. But this is the dark Morello cherry and pomegranate. And it barely has any flavor at all. But what it has is kind of mild and nice. It's not objectionable, is what I could say for it. But I like sparkling water, so that's, you know.
I see. You would think that I actually would like sparkling water. I love like fizzy drinks. I do. I can't. I am actually when it's hot and I'm able to like make it a good fresh lemonade made with actual lemons, which normally if our tree is producing lemons, which we'll have them in a few weeks, but they're not ready yet. But like a good, like freshly squeezed lemonade is fantastic. If you want to, I was making a few months ago when we had I can't even tell you how. First of all, our lemons are this big.
Oh,
they're massive. It's ridiculous.
Nice.
They're massive. And I was making, I made a lemonade. I actually made a simple syrup so that I wasn't putting actually, sugar because it never fucking dissolves. So I made a simple syrup and I muddled a little bit of mint, some cucumber, some strawberries in there. It was good.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Oh my
Throw
God.
a little bit of vodka in there and you are on it.
So good. No, let's talk about the summer cocktails because honestly, the best thing to drink in the summer that's not tea is water, right? We should all be drinking water. But
There is water in here somewhere.
yes, that's right. There's water
There,
in there. That, and this is like water originally. It's just been amplified with bubbles.
it does
But
not list ingredients, but it is wet. Therefore, I am assuming that there is water in it somewhere.
there is somewhere. There's a base layer that's water. But I love a lemonade with a little vodka or gin, depending on the gin. Because not all gins are created equal, and not all of them go well with. Like if it's too herbaceous, I don't like it with lemonade. If it's a more mellow gin, I like it with lemonade.
We got the cucumber lime infused vodka that I put in the lemonade, and that was good.
Ooh, that sounds delightful. I also like a Moscow Mule at this time of year. So because it's like gingery and light and not too heavy and very, very icy, which is perfect. Perfect.
I believe it or not, I am not a huge drinker of, the alcoholic beverages.
I believe
Every
it.
so often, once in a while, but it's usually a cocktail where I cannot taste the alcohol or some pansy ass drink like this.
Listen, we all like pansies and pansy asses around here.
I am a lightweight, so 2 drinks, and I'm like 3 drinks. We're gonna get interesting. 4 drinks.
Oh no! What? No. Oh no. Yeah. Listen, I'm with you. I'm usually like 2 drinks maximum, and that is a wild evening for me. Typically it's 1 drink, and I nurse it for a long time. I'm not a teetotaler, obviously, but I drink very much in moderation all the time, except for tea, which I have no moderation about. I'll drink tea all the time, scads of tea, sometimes to the point that I concern people. But alcohol is sort of like special occasion, or I don't know. It's just not an all the time thing for me.
I made a fantastic like boozy milkshake last year using mint chip ice cream. Obviously, you got to throw some cream and some milk in there and some ice. Yes. And then the mint chocolate chip Baileys.
Oh
my God.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds decadent.
You could even do sort of like an affogato kind of thing where you have like, you could even, if you don't have a blender, do like a scoop of ice cream and pour the alcohol over it and just kind of let it sit in there with a little bit of milk or something. Well, I
mean, that sounds, I would be there for that. I would give that a go. Yeah.
That shit was good. I had some whipped cream and some sprinkles.
Yeah.
Mint chocolate chip Baileys. I kid you not. And it's good. It is really good. Also, if you haven't had it, the bourbon cream is really good as well. I enjoy it. I'm weird, but I will either have it with like root beer or even the Dr. Pepper cream soda with the bourbon cream and a little bit of heavy cream and kind of mix it up. Tastes kind of like root beer float. It's good stuff.
Oh my God. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, like a boozy little float experience. That is nice in the summer. Mm-hmm. I'm about that life. On a less heavy note, one of the cocktails I do like to make periodically in the summer is this sort of like vermouth drink. But it's very important that you don't get the super sweet vermouth. You do not want to get super sweet, and you mix it vermouth with a lot of tonic water, which I know there are those of you are like, not the tonic water, and a lime. It's like the barest hint of alcohol, but there's something about the sort of bitter quality of the vermouth and the lime and the tonic water that's like very refreshing of a hot summer evening, which is nice when you have watched the news and
I
need
can't.
to relax. No. No. We're
Ooh,
not.
Alicia says they've made bourbon cream malt chocolate shakes.
Oh.
That sounds really damn good.
Ooh,
Bourbon
yes.
cream, go get some good chocolate milk and some malt powder.
Chocolate milk from a local dairy. Oh my gosh. That's so nice. And now, listen, up in the Phoenix area, you do actually have a local dairy. Is Dyson? They think that's
Something
close.
like that.
Yeah.
Something. Okay.
I occasionally like pick up some of their milk before my morning tea, and it is so lovely and creamy and wonderful.
I rarely drink milk anymore, like every so often, but it's got to be for some reason I have a weird craving for milk. I love good like organic milk. It tastes different, the consistency is different,
Yeah.
but it's also really bloody expensive, just like everything else right now.
Well, no, I mean, really, we could just spend an hour lamenting the cost of basic comestibles these days.
Spend $200, you walk out with a hot dog and like
maybe
a
an
piece
onion
of trash, and you're not sure what the hell happened. You're like, wait,
right.
what?
Oh no, this is so expensive. No, it's terrible. Yeah, no, but I agree with you. I think part of it for me with the organic milk is that it's less adulterated. Ooh, yeah.
Alicia adds Ovaltine to the mix.
To her wonderful bourbon cream, this beautiful milkshake with a hint of Ovaltine. That sounds malty.
Ooh, I bet I could use Milo, the Asian chocolate mix. That might work too.
Oh, that sounds lovely. That sounds. I mean, listen. What this is making me is thirsty and hungry, and also desirous of a milkshake, deeply. So yeah, I mean, clearly the most important thing is if it's too hot to be drinking tea, you need to be drinking something very icy, and boozy milkshakes may be the theme du jour, because we've got some wonderful recommendations in the comments on top of
Lord knows at this point we just need to drink.
I mean, yes, honestly, yes. I feel like drinking is a completely reasonable response to current events, and the climate change. So, and honestly, the Victorians also turned to drink in dire times. So it's good practice as a time traveler to get your 2 drinks and really hone yourself, prepare for nursing them when you travel to the 19th century.
Ooh, maybe I'll bring a blender with me next March.
I think you should. Oh my goodness. Thank you. So if you need the news, there is a good news source but honestly, for the most part, we're here to avoid the news, talk about joyful things, and maybe to be salty about some things. You've been in the news recently. You distressed some people by being fabulous.
I shut down the Capitol.
So proud of you.
Thank you.
Well done,
Thank
you.
Thank
well
you.
done. So talented. Shutting down the Capitol. Look at you.
All I had to do was show up in some sparkly shit and
Oh, not the rhinestones. Oh, terrible.
They weren't even rhinestones. They were sequins.
It was just sequins? Oh, my goodness.
Sequins.
Ridiculous.
Terrible.
Well, Freddie, as we are sort of coming towards the end of our hour, and I'm coming a bit to the end of my voice, because everyone, I'm doing this while I'm getting over from a cold, but I couldn't resist. I miss you all, and I was so excited to have Freddie as my special guest co-host tonight. Is so good. But Freddie, do you have anything planned for the autumn? I know we're going to see you at Wild West Con. You are running the Burlesque Drag Show. I don't know if tickets are available yet for that, but if you're
Not
coming
yet,
to
but
Wild
they will
West
be
Con,
soon. They will be soon.
yeah.
Like we're starting to get promo stuff worked on, so keep an eye out. And I would highly recommend getting tickets sooner rather than later once they go on sale, because they sell out.
They've sold out both of the last 2 years. And so this is year 3 of the Burlesque Drag Show, which means it's become a tradition now. And it's a wonderful way to spend Friday night. I am biased, as the Grand Arbiter and I are now emceeing. But it is an amazing show. You put together such an incredible lineup last year, and I know it's going to be stunning again this year.
The theme is Halloween, so y'all are not going to be ready for what's going to be hitting that stage. Just the stuff that I'm working on, y'all have no idea. Like, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be so good.
So we're going to have a great time this year. So please, 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 if you are able to join us at Wild West Con, do come, get your tickets to the Burlesque Drag Show. Come out and support wonderful art. Cheer people on, bring those dollar bills, all the things. Yeah. So
for the rest of the summer and the fall, I don't currently have a whole hell of a lot on my schedule, which I'm not too mad about because it's really hot. And drag during the summer in Arizona is a hate crime. And Bill, yes. There were discussions that happened after last year, and I promise that things are going to be much better. Certain things happened that other people were not aware of. It was a thing. Know that the issues with the queuing up last year were neither my fault nor the owners from the con's fault. There was a whole thing that was going on that it was a thing.
It was a thing that is being addressed, and they got the feedback, and the convention is taking it very seriously. So
is one thing I do not tolerate is starting late. Drag time is not a thing for me. And the fact that we started late last year, y'all have no idea that I was not.
It was a mess. It was a mess. We had a wonderful time, but it was yes, as Dee says, so much amazing problem solving behind the scenes. Honestly, I've been with Wild West Con going since the very first year, but entertaining and working with the convention since year 2. And I'm so impressed, especially the last few years. The owners are really dedicated to listening to feedback and improving. And you can see that they are taking this feedback and that they have really been putting the effort into making things more accessible, to being more thoughtful about line control and all sorts of things. And their programming also has exploded in the last few years in a really wonderful way. So I love working with a show and a group of people who are so dedicated to listening and improving. And those are 2 features at Wild West Con that I think are really cool, very valuable. Let's see here. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. So, as Sydney says, it was great, even with the late start. It's one of the few things she gets to do that's fun at Wild West Con, because Cindy's one of our vendors at Wild West Con. Cindy, you are Madam Huffenbustle. Is that the name of your business at the con? Just make sure I'm getting that right, because Cindy has wonderful ready-to-wear, steampunk ready-to-wear.
I have 2 of her corsets, and Dee also has a beautiful one that she hasn't gotten to wear yet, but her daughter has. So.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Yes, no. And what Bill says here, Dina and Jason and their crew really are really fabulous. We love them. Wild West Con is our home show. I think for both of us, Wild West Con is our steampunk home, and so I'm obviously a little bit, it's like a little biased, but I love that show. Thank you, Cindy. Madam Huff and Bustle Steam Couture. Perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, and Dee has worn her green one. Yeah, her green
but not the blue one yet.
Yeah.
No.
It's so good.
Yeah,
I think
it's. I promise it that the show for next year, things are already in the works. Like I said, the promo stuff is going to be out soon. I am already starting to narrow down performers. See who, I may have to change a couple up because apparently some people decided that they want to go on their honeymoon in February. So blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, but I don't, whatever. I think it's just rude, really. But, I'm like, what the hell? I am officiating a wedding in October.
Ooh,
so that'll be super fun. I love that. Yes. Officiating weddings is actually one of my favorite things to do. I love doing it.
When you officiate, do you officiate in drag or do they?
It depends on what they want. Okay. I have officiated in drag. I have officiated in not drag. So it depends on what the folks want. So the ones that I have officiated in not drag have managed to stay together. We'll just say
that's good to know. So keep that in mind. If you're hiring Freddy to officiate, you may want Freddy not in drag for better luck.
I can still be flashy. Just saying.
Yes, you can.
If anybody out there is planning on getting married, I can officiate weddings.
So you are available for wedding officiation, emceeing, producing, and performing.
I'm available for anything: funerals, circumcisions, divorces, weddings, you name it. I am there. I have no shame.
Well, and you are also, not only are you available for all these things, and like you should be shameless because that's how we tell people that we can do things and we're available, but you're also so good at really plugging and highlighting other artists as well and mentoring people and getting them opportunities. You love to give back to your community, our community. Do I have this right? You're on the board for the Arizona Drag Story Hour?
I am. Actually, I'm president of the board. I'm actually president of the board of the local chapter for Drag Story Hour, and I'm also on the national board as well.
Oh my gosh, Freddy. Well, we've been honored to raise money for you all in the past. I'm so happy by the work you do in our community and how you bring Drag Story Hour fearlessly, fabulously to so many places. It's really amazing work that you do. And
in fact, there may, for folks that bring little ones to Wow Wow WestCon next year, there may be a Drag Story Hour that happens. Maybe.
Oh.
It's been discussed, so we'll see if we can make that happen.
Yeah, I know that it's always that there's lots of things that go into programming. And this is my note for everyone, that if cool things don't happen, it's not because they are not wanted. Sometimes it's because there's just not the space, or because you're an overachiever and the con starts cutting you off because they're like, they want you to eat and take breaks. And
you're obviously not speaking from experience.
No, not me. I definitely did not have that conversation with multiple con chairs.
No, not about you. No, never. I can't see that at all.
No. Yeah. Oh, Tracy. Oh, yes. I mean, right, it's wonderful for all ages.
Yes, the Drag Story Hours are always open to all ages. Like, we're always happy to have folks, but it would be something else for the folks that do bring littles to the con. So
yeah, and it's wonderful because conventions, especially a family show like Wild West Con, we might have some spicy adult content after 9 p.m. But like most of the show is meant to be for everybody. But let's face it, some of those panels are a bit dry when you're 6 years old. So, like, even if they're wonderful, a 6-year-old is probably not like, yeah, tell me again about the refinement of how to hold a teaspoon. Like, you're
I mean,
6.
some of them may be a little dry if you're 40. So
That's also true. That's also true. Everybody wants something different. But having Drag Story Hour, that's really fun for the kiddos, wonderful for their parents, a great addition. I hope it works out. I'd love to see it at the show if that's possible. Yeah, I'll keep my fingers crossed that there's space and that it works out in the schedule. It's be a lovely addition. So, but we have a lot of enthusiasm and excitement about Wild West Con, of course, because it's our big show of the year happening in March. It is scheduled for a little bit later in March, so please make note of that in your schedules.
everything is scheduled a little bit later next year. While WestCon is, FanFusion's in June. I'm like later, like in the like middle of June or something.
Oh no. Oh no. I have done FanFusion in June and it's so it's so hot. Listen, it's so hot.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a lot in costume. It's a good time to break out the dance belt and the bathing costumes.
This is where we're gonna have to have a discussion about the cod piece and the bustle.
Yes, clearly. It's a necessity for summertime, so it's the only way to get through. Freddie, if we want to get a hold of you, what's the best place to find you?
I have most of the social medias. I'm terrible at all of them. I'm on Facebook, which I think most of you know. I'm also on the Instagram at Freddy P Charming. And I also have the TikTok under the same thing, at Freddy P Charming. That's the one.
Thank
yep.
you.
So if that, I'm terrible at posting things. I'm awful. I really am. I try really hard, but I'm also really old, so it's a struggle. But I try.
Yeah, and also, so something I mentioned today on Patreon and something behind the scenes artists talk about a lot is that the grind of posting on social media, it feels like a grind, in part because they've like shrunk our engagement so much that we don't get to interact with you, and so it feels a little bit like, well, we're putting this out here and we know you'd like it, but you're not going to see it, and so it takes some of the enthusiasm and fun and the joy out of doing it. And yes, Lady June Squirrel, old is relative. I will say we all joke about being old, but we've met truly old people and they're very stuck in their ways. They're very, ossified, and they're not interested in new things. And Lady June Squirrel, you and our community, Freddie, all of us exemplify the desire and interest to not become rigid and to keep learning and doing cool things. So.
I was told at FanFusion that it was very nice to see an old trans man thriving. So there's that. So I am.
That. Oh my gosh! Well, and I heard through the rumor mill that some people think you should give up cosplaying when you hit 30 because you're too old. And like, 30?
Oh,
30?
wow.
30?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Also, honestly, no one is too old for fun. That's just not real. That's not factual. You're always young enough for fun. Or rather, I don't know. I feel like complicated because sometimes we live in a culture that really focuses on youngness. But I feel like you're always vibrant enough for fun. So, yeah. Yes, yes. So on that happy note, FP Charming withered with Eld.
Yeah, well.
So, my darlings, we do have an interview tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or Pacific Daylight or whatever. We don't do that here, so I get a bit confused. But it's 10 a.m.
Specific that side.
that side. 10 a.m. in Seattle, 10 a.m. in Tucson. We're currently the same time zone. Arizona does not do daylight savings. So 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, we're doing Sip the Tea. And I have as my special guest, Traven Powell, who is Sir Dressmaker on social media, a wonderful costumer who does historical drag. So
I follow them and they're amazing.
Right, they're amazing. I love them. Trayvon is incredible talent, so fierce. Also is an actor as well as a costumer. So I'm really excited to sit down and talk about costuming and performing and doing historical drag and all the things. So that's tomorrow. My wonderful Patreon community, you will have access to the link on Patreon. I should be getting it up later this evening. And I have to try and have a voice for that, but I'm very excited for that. And then Sunday, we have our bustle skirt class, also at 11 a.m. And so I'll see many of you there for class.
See, I'll need to start going to those so I can learn how to make a bustle to add to my codpiece.
Yes, you should. You should. Honestly, I record all of our classes and they are available later for people to watch at their leisure. And if you're not a member of our Patreon community, they are available for purchase. And so, Freddie, I have a series of classes on how to make your own bustle cage, and it's great.
So, Bill, the axolotl over here, there you go. So the axolotl was actually crocheted for me by a friend of mine in Free Mom Hugs. She does a lot of crochet work. She crocheted that, and then you can't see his. Oh, geez. But my little he's my little pan stegosaurus dude. And then my friend did not crochet the little trans penis next to him, but I got that at a fabulous little arts and craft, local arts and crafts thing. So yes, that is a crocheted trans axolotl next to other various crocheted things.
I love that so much. I love that. What a wonderful crochet assemblage. Also, who doesn't want a trans axolotl in their life? I mean, right? So cute, so charming, right. so cheeky. Right. So yes. Oh my gosh, my darlings, thank you, and thank you, Freddie, so much for being here.
Anytime.
What a wonder to have you here and to get to chat with you. Thanks for being back as part of our return to Friday Tea. Join me tomorrow. Join me Sunday. See us next week on Friday as well. I'm excited to be back despite the heat. Freddie, we'll see you online. Everybody, please follow Freddie.
And everybody make sure that you go and, toss some stuff in the tip jar for Madam Askew and the Grand Arbiter so they can get themselves an oil painting and get up here to get a shoot with Holly, because I think that they need that.
Thank you. Yes, we do need that. We do need that. We absolutely need that. Good night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you next week. Take very good care. Stay hydrated. Drink something that's got water involved with it. Yeah. Cheers. Cheers.